Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Stella Beauty Tarot back at you again with another video. I would like to thank each and every one of you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and donating to my channel. I really do appreciate all the love and all the support. And thank you for those of you who've been booking readings with me. It is truly appreciated, okay? So as you guys can tell by the title of this video is going to be about what comes to mind when people mention your name. So pile number one, you're going to be the red turquoise crystal. Pile number two, you're going to be the fluoride crystal. And pile number three, you're going to be the moonstone crystal. So again, pile number one, red turquoise crystal. Pile number two, fluoride crystal. And pile number three, moonstone crystal. So pause this video if you must and meditate on the card or the crystal that you feel most drawn to. You'll be able to find your timestamps in the description box below, and I'll see you guys at your pile. Hi pile one, welcome to my channel. This is Stella Beauty Tarot back at you again with another video. So my pile number one, you picked the red turquoise crystal, and this is going to be your reading, okay? So if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you back. And if you are a newbie, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So the way I like to do this is like to smudge the cards first before we get started, so we don't pick up the energy of previous pile or previous readings, okay? So my pile number one, what comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name, my pile number one? What comes to mind? Let's see. We have the King of Wands. Okay, so confidence. I also heard overly confident and cocky. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. I feel like you have a lot of haters, my pal number one. A lot of people that are envious of your shine. People that are envious of your confidence. Okay, so they may, like, you know, when you're confident, some people may call it arrogant, but really it's just like you're really confident in your skill set, your abilities to get things done, and because they are insecure, they just project that onto you. So what comes to mind when people mention your name, my pal number one? What comes to mind? We have the Queen of Pentacles, so independent, self-sufficient, living a life of luxury. Okay, I'm definitely getting, like, with the Queen of Pentacles, you could be an earth sign or you could be a fire sign. Don't have to be. You just embody that energy where you are extremely confident in who you are. You're dedicated, you're strong-willed, hardworking, amazing work ethics. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Wow, we have the Queen of Wands, King of Wands, Queen of Wands. Okay, so what comes to mind when people mention your name is that you're very attractive. With the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands, very fiery. And that's what caused people to be jealous of you or insecure, because of your looks. And not only that, you have the looks, you have the brains to go with it. Whether you are a woman or a man, you got the brains and you got the looks to go with it. So that's like triple threat, double threat, okay? Like, you have a lot of things going on for yourself. You're very assertive. Yeah, we have the Magician. You're master manifester. You're very skilled at what you do. You're a great communicator. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. There's also an air of mystery to you, even though the moon is not here, but I'm getting like a mysterious vibe about you that people just mention whenever they speak on your name. With the Magician, I'm getting like maybe you could have Gemini or Virgo in your chart. So what comes to mind when people mention your name? Didn't I say, guys, we have the high priestess, so definitely that mysterious energy, alluring, mystical energy that you possess, okay? What comes to mind when people mention your name is that you're definitely high priestess energy. You're very in tune, highly intuitive with your surroundings. We also have the Ten of Swords and the Six of Cups. Okay, so some people talk about, whenever they talk about you, when your name comes up, the Ten of Swords energy is like talking about like cutting things off or ending things abruptly, like a clean cut, no warning type of energy, okay, with the Ten of Swords. And that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. They talk about how you have your cutoff game is very strong. People from your past with the Six of Cups, I feel like there's a lot of people from your past talking about you, reminiscing about you, wanting to make peace with you. Some of them, they feel like you're cocky. That's what I'm getting. Like you don't want to deal with them anymore. Like you have leveled up in your life in a way where you don't really resonate with these people anymore. And because you do not resonate with them anymore, they feel some type of way about you. So that's why they call you cocky or arrogant, like you think you're all that. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name, especially from the past. I feel like people around you that have access to you right now speak highly of you, but the people from your past, they definitely talk down on you because of the fact that you are rejecting them. I feel like some of you may have had people from the past returning to you before the end of 2023 and you rejected them and you did not take them with you in 2024. Like you're like, no, I'm not repeating that cycle with you. I already learned my lesson. If you haven't learned your lesson, that's on you, but I have learned my lesson and I'm moving on. I'm moving forward, and I'm moving forward without you. And some people feel some type of way about you moving forward without them. That's why they say your cutoff game is strong with the Ten of Swords. So what comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have the Ace of Cups. Like you have a healthy amount of self-love. Your self-esteem is intact, okay? Like regardless of what you've been through in your life, you believe highly of yourself. And that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. What comes to mind? We have the Seven of Pentacles, very dedicated individual, extremely patient. I'm also getting like cautious energy. You work really, like you take really good care of your investments. They last you a long time. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name with the Seven of Pentacles. Like you are a dedicated individual. Wow, we have the Ten of Pentacles, okay? Financially abundant, successful. Also, you are grounded, okay, in your energy. I feel like there's a lot of people like they're still stuck in this, like, you know, last time that you saw them, so it could have been like 10 years ago, because I'm getting like 10 here. Maybe you see that number often, but it could have been like 10 years ago since you last spoke to these people, or 5 years ago. But I feel like it's like double digits, so like 10 years ago you last spoke to these people, and they're still doing the same thing with the same people and getting the same results, and they're wondering why they're not progressing. And then they're seeing you progress with the Ten of Pentacles, leveling up, and they're wondering how you're doing it. And they feel like because you don't want to associate with them anymore, you think you're better than them. And it's like, no, we're just not vibrating at the same frequency anymore. Therefore, we cannot connect. Okay, there's nothing to talk about. They want to talk about drama while you want to talk about progress, you know? So it's not matching vibrationally. It's not a match. So it's not going to work. So what comes to mind when people mention your name, my pal number one? Yeah, we have the World card and we have the Emperor, guys. You're a boss. They know that. We have the World card, like you are accomplished. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Maybe you are well traveled, okay, with the World card, but I feel like you have accomplished a lot of things. And with the Emperor energy, whether you are a woman or a man, you are about your business. You are well established. You have strong will, strong boundaries. You're dedicated. You may have Aries in your chart, because we have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands. Don't have to be an Aries, but you definitely embody Emperor energy, where you are an amazing leader. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name, that you are an amazing leader. If they want to know how things should be done, they should watch you, because you have, like, you have the blueprint, okay? You've done it. You're not just talking about it. You actually are about it with the Emperor. The Emperor, in order to get to the Emperor status, you have to go through trials and tribulation and overcome them. You can't just be like, oh, wake up one day and like, I'm an Emperor. It doesn't work like that. Your energy is going to show whether or not you are an Emperor. And pile number one, you definitely are an Emperor, whether you are a woman or a man, okay? So what comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? What do we have here? Yeah, Oh, they think that you're lucky with the Wheel of Fortune. It has nothing to do with luck. It's all about preparation and discipline and hard work. Being at the right place at the right time, being ready, staying ready. That's what it is with the Emperor. And but that's what comes to mind when people mention your name, is that you're lucky, or you created your own luck with the Wheel of Fortune, or things just happened for you naturally, which is not the case. You really had to work at it and keep, focusing, meditating, manifesting, doing your ritual, whatever it is that you're doing, like always being consistent with everything that you do. So what comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, you're getting your wish fulfillment with the 9 of Cups. They're jealous of you. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have the 2 of Swords. You're indifferent. They're mad at you. They're mad at you for being indifferent. Some of them, they're calling you selfish with the 9 of Cups because of the fact that you're getting your desires, your wish fulfillment, but you worked really hard for this. Okay, with the Emperor, you had to be consistent with your routine. Like I said, with your like, because a ritual is like a routine, something that you do religiously. Okay, so this is what I'm getting here. You stick to, I don't know why I'm getting ritual, because I feel like it's something like, maybe like you pray and then you have something that you do right after you pray, or when you meditate, there is some sort of practice that you do right after you meditate. So that's why I was getting like a ritual. Okay, not like some like magic or anything like that. That's not what I'm getting. I'm getting like more of like something that you do consistently, like a routine, but it's like something that you incorporate in your life, where you, like, no matter what you do, if you do your meditation, you always do that ritual after. It could be like just washing your hands in a specific manner, washing your hands for 20 seconds. Like, I don't know why I'm getting that, but some of you, this is something that you do that got you to the Emperor energy, where you were consistently and you saw some sort of improvement and you incorporate that in your life. And some people, they definitely feel like you're indifferent to them with the 2 of Swords. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. We have the 2 of Pentacles. Yeah, you have a lot on your plate. You're too busy. You're too focused. You ain't got time for them. You don't got time to entertain them. They're mad at you for that. What comes to mind when people mention your name? We have the King of Cups. Yeah, emotionally intelligent, emotionally fulfilled. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name, that you're very emotionally mature as well. You gain a lot of knowledge, expertise. What comes to mind? Yeah, Ace of Cups again, guys. So definitely that self-love is on point, guys. Like, now it's kind of hard for people to get you off your ground, off balance. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Ooh, we have the Devil. Okay, so some people, they call you obsessed with money, obsessed with success, obsessed with material wealth. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name, because you're always working, right? And Capricorn energy, they really value financial stability, not in a vain way, because like I feel like the Devil always gets a bad rep. Yes, it is about toxicity, but also there is a good side to the Devil. Okay, it's good to know what your vices are. It's good to know what your your bad habits are, so that way you could overcome it, because the Devil is also about overcoming those things, knowing what is having a hold on you, and also about like a healthy obsession. It is good to be obsessed with your goals. It is good to be obsessed with like making more money, not in like to the detriment of your health or your family and stuff like that, but you cannot pay bills with love, and that's the reality of life. You need money. It's like the money is what, it's a currency. We have no choice. It's not something that you could be like, oh, I don't need money. No, you do need the money. So with that healthy obsession here, you were able to manifest your desires with the 10 of Pentacles. It wasn't because like it just came out of nowhere. You had to, manifest this into existence, and you have to be obsessed in love with money, because if you don't love money, money is not gonna love you back. It's just an exchange. Okay, it has nothing to do with being like greedy or anything like that, but these people, they're not seeing it like that. They're just mad at you for like being successful in your life. Okay, or getting there and not entertaining them, because it's like, why am I going to entertain you if you're not going to help me get to the next level of my life? This connection should be mutual, beneficial, not one-sided. So what comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have orphan, child. It says independence based on learning to go at it alone, conquering fear of surviving. Yeah, like you're with the orphan energy, it's like you're doing this all on your own. Like you're not really asking for support, asking for help. You're depending on your own skill set and talents. And this is the reason why you are reaping the rewards of all your efforts. What comes to mind? Wow, we have angel. Helping those in need with no expectation of return. And that's the reason why they're mad at you, my pal number one, is because they know that you are an earth angel, okay? And they cannot siphon your energy anymore because you have put up some sort of boundary now. With the Ten of Swords, like you cut off people when you see that they're trying to take advantage of your energy. What comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind? We have networker. It says enhance a unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. So definitely what comes to mind when people mention your name is that you're a networker, like you know a lot of people, you have a big social group, okay, big network. And by knowing the right people, that's how you were able to get through the door, or you were able to accomplish some sort of goal that you have right now. We have victim. So it says prevent you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Okay, so somebody may be thinking that you are like a victim, or they are a victim of you because you cut them off. Somebody is playing victim here and they're trying to project onto you. That's what I'm getting here. Like somebody is definitely, like there's a lot of people talking about you, but there's that one specific person that's upset with you for letting them go, or I heard kicking them out. You kicked out somebody? Yeah, maybe somebody that you were living with, they were taking advantage of you, sleeping on your couch or something, which is nothing wrong with, like, you know, if you're helping somebody and they're down on their luck and they need some sort of support. But I feel like this person was like, they were not trying to help themselves. They were trying to live off of you and you got tired of it. So you told them they gotta go. They gotta find somewhere else to smooch off, like someone else to drain their energy, because you're not about that life. So that's why Ten of Swords, somebody is upset with you for doing that, for putting up your boundaries, because it's like, I'm going to help you to a certain extent, but you have to help yourself as well. This person was not trying to help themselves, so they're projecting onto you. They're bad mouthing you. Okay, whoever this person is that you had to let go of, that you cut off, because they know you're an angel, so they were taking advantage of you, your kindness, and you had enough. That's too bad. Like, like this person, too bad for them. Like, you help them to a certain extent. At what point do this person like realize that it's their life? They have to take responsibility for it. The only person that you have to help is a child that's like under the age of 25, that doesn't, like, you know, between the age of 18 and 25, that's when you're finding yourself. But eventually after 25, you can still live with your parents, but eventually you have to be able to do certain things on your own. Go get the money on your own, even if you're still living with your parents, but you still have to be able to sustain yourself as an adult. So I feel like this person is past 25, okay? And they're grown enough to know how to, like, to go get a job and get their ish together. And this person was not trying to do that. They were trying to live off of you, okay? And they're upset. So that's all I have for you, my pal number one. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in my next video, pal number one. Bye. Hi, pal two. Welcome to my channel. This is Stella Beauty Tarot, back at you again with another video. So my pal number two, you picked the fluoride crystal, and this is going to be your reading, okay? So if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you back. And if you are a newbie, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So the way I like to do this is like to smudge the cards first before we get started, so we don't pick up the energy of previous pile or previous readings, okay? So my pile number two, what comes to mind when people mention your name? what comes to mind when people mention your name, my pile number 2? So what do we have here for you? We have the Fool card. So you walk to the beat of your own drums. Okay. You're independent. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you walk to the beat of your own drums. You're different. You're unique, eccentric. What comes to mind when people mention your name? My pile number 2, what comes to mind? We have the 10 of Cups, happiness, happy home, balanced. Okay, maybe you have children or you want a family, but there's something balanced about you, very happy, harmonious energy. It could also be your family members talking about you. Maybe you didn't come home for Christmas. I don't know why I'm getting this specifically. Some of you did not come home for Christmas or did not go back home for Christmas or something like that. So what comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind? We have the Page of Pentacles, so cautious energy. Okay, you keep people at arm's length. You walk alone. You could be a loner, my pile number 2. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you are an extremely cautious individual. You keep people at a distance. You observe people. You're very friendly, like you're amicable. However, like, you're not gonna let people just come in all up in your business and instigate. Okay, so what comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have the King of Swords. Okay, stoic. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you're very stoic. You're hard to read. You're strategic in your approach. Like, you overanalyze every situation, which is not a bad thing, especially if you've been hurt in the past. You're more hyper vigilant. I'm getting with the King of Swords. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you're very vigilant. Okay, you're observant. You're a great communicator. Some people, they may even say that you're kind of harsh with your words. You're more direct, stern when you speak. You have a powerful voice. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. So we have the Page of Wands and we have the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so you're definitely a generous spirit. You still have a youthful appearance to you with the Page of Wands. I don't know if you guys heard the confirmation in the background. Wow, there was like 3 confirmation, guys. So you're very youthful in appearance with the Page of Wands. Extremely imaginative, very charming. Okay, that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you're very personable as well, but you're just very cautious with the type of energy or information that you give people, so that way they don't use it against you in the future. Because I feel like maybe in the past you have been betrayed by either family members or friends, or where you have overshared some sort of information with them and they used it against you to make you feel some type of way about yourself. So you are more cautious because of that. But we have the Page of Wands, so you're definitely, what comes to mind when people mention your name is that you are someone who is very enthusiastic, outgoing, okay, charismatic with the Page of Wands, and very generous, giving, loving, nurturing with the 6 of Pentacles. Like, you're the type of person that will give your back, oh my God, will give your shirt off your back. Okay, so what comes to mind when people mention your name, my pal number 2? What comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have the Tower, unpredictable. Scorpio energy. You're extremely unpredictable, okay? You're hard to read. Like I said, with the King of Swords, you're extremely hard to read. And that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. It's like they're trying to understand you. They're trying to read you, or trying to, maybe some people just overanalyze you and they're kind of having a hard time to figure you out with the Tower energy. And that's another reason why I'm getting like some people with the Tower energy. It's like they may say that you're chaotic or something like that because they cannot read you. They can't predict what your next move is going to be. So because they feel unstable in your energy, because they're not like, because you know, like, it could be like control freaks that are trying to control you, and because you're unpredictable, they don't feel comfortable around you because they don't know how to control the situation, instead of allowing it to flow naturally. Because you're, with the Fool card, you're a free-spirited individual, so it's like you're not going to be restrained or constrained to anybody's like like wishes or demand, or like you just walk to the beat of your own drum. So it's kind of hard for people that are control freaks to be around you, because it's like they feel debilitated. Okay. Wow, we have the Queen of Swords as well, guys. You have a really good balance of feminine and masculine energy. I'm just going to pick it up because it fell on the floor. But you have a really good balance of feminine and masculine energy here, because now we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, right up below the King of Swords. Like, you're extremely intelligent, transformative, because we have butterflies here. So there is like, you're multifaceted. This is what I'm getting here with the King and the Queen of Swords, because we have butterflies, but we also have the winter. We have snow here on the card, but we have butterflies. So there is like, you could withstand any season, any weather. You're very strong minded. This is what I'm getting here. What comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have Temperance, Sagittarius energy. You're even tempered, you're balanced, you're wise beyond your years. Yeah, and then Sagittarius are also free-spirited individual. Like, you cannot tame a Sagittarius if the Sagittarius does not want to be tamed. You cannot force yourself, your ideology on a Sagittarius. It's not going to work. They will rebel against you because they have their own ideology. They're the wise one, okay? So you cannot impose your wishes, or like your like oh my gosh, like the word is not coming to me, your ideas and stuff like that. You cannot do that with a Sagittarius. And definitely with the energy here, what comes to mind when people mention your name is that you are even tempered, you go with the flow of life. You're like, some people may even consider you nonchalant, but you're not easily tamed. Okay, it's like, if you want to conform, you will conform on your own. You're not going to be forced into something. So what comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name, my pal? Number 2. What comes to mind? We have Death card. Okay, Scorpio energy. So you could be a Scorpio, Sagittarius. Cuz don't have to be. And we also have the 5 of Wands. Okay, a challenge. Some people may even see you as competition. But with the Death card, what comes to mind when people mention your name is that you are resilient, that you are transformative, self-improving individual. Okay, but you're definitely a challenge with the 5 of Wands. Like, a lot of people see you as competition, my pal, number 2. And because they want to compete, they want to be at your level. So they want to compete with you in terms of achievement, in terms of like accomplishments and stuff like that. With the 5 of Wands, maybe you have a lot of stamina, you could endure a lot. Like I said with the Queen of Swords, like you could endure any weather, any season. Okay, in your life, you always stand strong, you always transform, or you adapt to your environment. And air signs are extremely adaptable. So I'm getting here that, yeah, you could be very adaptable here. Okay, so what comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? Woo. We have the 2 of Cups and the 7 of Wands. You have strong boundaries when it comes to love. It could be ex-lovers that are talking about you. When people mention your name, like, oh, how is pal number 2 doing? Like, you know, are you guys still together? You could have lovers, ex-lovers that talk about how maybe you were a challenge in a relationship with the 5 of Wands and the 7 of Wands, or you have strong boundaries or high standards in love. Like you're hard to manipulate, I'm getting. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you're definitely a challenge. Like, you have high standards for yourself. Like, you're not going to tolerate any BS from people. You're not going to tolerate the bare minimum. Okay, like, you're definitely understanding, not loving and nurturing. However, with the King and the Queen of Swords here, you're not going to come run games like on you, pal number 2. People cannot run games on you. Like, you're too smart, you're too bright, like you're too advanced, like you're analytical with the King and the Queen of Swords. Like, so it's kind of hard for people to come and run games on you, especially with the 7 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. Like, you're going to put an end to it. Like, you're going to put your foot down and you're not going to budge. And that's difficult for people that are very controlling. So what comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? What do we have here? We have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, emotionally understanding, emotionally available, very mature, nurturing, and highly intuitive. Okay, what comes to mind when people mention your name? What do we have here? We have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, very charming. Okay, romantic. I heard alluring with the Knight of Cups. Yeah, you're very I heard finesse. Some people, they feel like you finesse them. Yeah, some people, that's what comes to mind when they mention your name. It's like maybe they felt like you finessed them. Maybe they try to finesse you and it didn't turn out like that. What comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? I just saw the Page of Cups. I went to, ooh, Five of Cups. I'm telling you, there's somebody heartbroken over you, my pal number 2. Somebody feel some type of way about you setting some sort of boundaries with them with the Seven of Wands. Maybe you block this person. Maybe I'm feeling like this person tried to finesse you and it didn't turn out like that. And now they feel finessed by you. Maybe like I feel like this is somebody who may be very manipulative, emotionally manipulative. And their manipulation usually their tactic usually work on the others, but it didn't work on you. Like you probably like I feel like this person, maybe they had third parties or something like that and they wanted you to stick around or like deal with them and their third parties, and you decided not to deal with them. It's like, no, I could find someone else. Like, boy, bye. Like, girl, bye. Who the hell do you think you are? Like, you're the only person on earth, or like my only option? That's what I feel like. And this person's heartbroken over you. Some people, like, what comes to mind when they mention your name is that you're a heartbreaker. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Ooh, the Ace of Swords. This is the truth, but there's some nudity on it, so I had to hide it. Yes, you see, we have the King of Cups. There's someone, there is like maybe a water sign, or you could be the water sign here, that was emotionally manipulative, and like you call them out on their BS. Like, what comes to mind when people mention your name is that you call people on their BS with the Ace of Swords. You speak the truth. You see clearly. You speak facts. Okay, no. Yes, we have the Queen and the King of Cups, but we also have the King and the Queen of Swords. So yes, you could have like, you're emotionally balanced, but you're also mentally like, well balanced. So you know how to use your head before your heart. Like, you have a balance of both, but then when like a situation arises, especially when it comes to love, you know how to make a logical decision. You don't let your emotions cloud you. So you speak the truth with the Ace of Swords. Like, you're like, okay, yes, I do like you. Yes, I am feeling you, but I don't mean I'm desperate for you. Like, that's what I'm getting here for you, my pal number 2. Maybe I really feel like there's somebody that try to play you, try to have you in a situation, like I'm getting like third party situation, and it didn't work out like that. You set up some sort of boundaries and you told them, no, like, if you're not gonna come correct, then don't come at all, and I'm not gonna continue entertaining you. Maybe this person initially thought that you were playing. Maybe you went back and forth with this person because you really like them, but you're like, you know what, I could find someone else, I'm good. And then this person now is shook, they're in their feelings. Well, too bad for them. With the Five of Cups. Yeah, we have the Magician. You're a master manifester. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. It's like you manifest your life into existence. Things happen for you naturally. Okay, you know how to utilize the energies around you to make your dreams come true. With the Magician, that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Yeah, you're very skilled and talented, articulate. What comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? Can I? Yes, there's 4 of them. Okay, so I'll take them. So we have child, wounded, awakened compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens to the learning path of forgiveness. So you're extremely forgiving. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. So I feel like I said, back to that situation, because I feel like that situation is very important here. It doesn't have to be a lover. It could also be a friend, where this person may have thought that you were going to keep forgiving them for like their past transgression. But it's like, okay, but after how long? Like, how many times do I have to forgive you for the same thing? Like, eventually you're going to get tired. So I feel like you had to remove somebody from your life. We have Destroyer, releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for a new life. So yeah, this is like giving me Tower energy. Okay, so you're definitely removing or releasing. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you release things that no longer serve you. You don't play around, or you don't waste your time trying to explain yourself to people that are like committed to misunderstanding you. Like, you just move on. And that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you're not the person that's going to go back and forth with others with the 7 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. Like, you're done. We have Don Juan spotlights your positive seductive qualities. I'm telling you, somebody is saying that you are a finessa. They feel like you finesse them, you seduce them. This person got seduced. They got seduced. You didn't do anything. They're the one with their mind that got seduced. And now they're mad because they didn't get what they wanted from you. Okay? Maybe it was time, it was energy, attention. Maybe you have giving them attention, but it was brief and they didn't get what they wanted. Like, you know, that supply. Maybe this person's narcissistic. Who knows? But whoever this person is, like, they're in their feelings about you. We have engineer, ability to create energy, to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. Okay, so this is giving me the energy of like magician as well. We have the magician twice, so you're definitely spoken highly of when it comes to your creative talent. Okay, you have the ability to create things out of thin air. You also are very like a problem solver. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. It's like you were like, I feel like you were kind of like the go-to person for a lot of people when they had like some sort of issue or dilemma in their life that they needed some sort of guidance for. And with the engineer, you came up with like creative solution to their problems. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you're highly creative. Okay, so that's all I have for you, my pal number 2. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in my next video, pal number 2. Bye. Hi, pal 3. Welcome to my channel. This is Stella Beauty Tarot back at you again with another video. So, my pal number 3, you picked the moonstone crystal, and this is going to be your reading, okay? So if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you back. And if you are a newbie, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So the way I like to do this is like to smudge the cards first before we get started, so we don't pick up the energy of previous pal or previous readings, okay? So my pal number 3, what comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? Okay, we have Tower. Okay, Scorpio energy, unpredictable. This is what I'm getting here, unpredictable. Yeah. Hard to read, transformative. You're giving people Tower moments. They maybe underestimated you. What comes to mind when people mention your name, my pal number 3? What comes to mind? What comes to mind when people mention your name? We have Justice, Libra energy. So you could be a Libra, a Scorpio cusp. Don't have to be. But you definitely have integrity. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. They may say you're goody two shoes. Like you follow the rules. I heard party pooper. Maybe like I'm getting like the reason why I'm hearing party pooper is because of the fact that, like, let's say if you're in a group of friends or people, you see somebody's on to talk. If you're in a group of friends or people and they're trying to do something maybe bad or illegal, you call them out and they call you party pooper. Or maybe you don't drink and smoke and then they call you party pooper for that because you don't want to engage in those type of activities. What comes to mind when people mention your name, my pal? What do we have here? We have the 7 of Cups. Ooh, we have options. Somebody's jealous of you, my pal number 2. Sorry, pal number 3. Maybe watch pal number 2. There could be a message for you in there. Somebody's jealous of you with your options. Like you're always chosen, or you're like you always have multiple options. So let's say if somebody's trying to play games with you, or when it comes to love, you could just drop them because you're not desperate. You don't really need that person. It's like you could always find someone else. Even if you were only entertaining one person, you could find someone else tomorrow. Like, this person is not like your end all or be all. Okay, what comes to mind when people mention your name? What do we have here? We have the Queen of Swords. Okay, very stoic energy. We have Libra here, so definitely air energy, highly intelligent. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. You call out BS with the Queen of Swords. Okay, people are just like, they don't like to be in your presence because, like, let's say if they're doing something illegal, you will call it out, or if they're doing something wrong, you will call it out. What comes to mind when people mention your name? And it bothers a lot of people. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have the Three of Cups. Okay, you could be very popular here. Okay, with the Three of Cups, you could have a lot of friends or just know a lot of people. You have a big network of people. I'm getting with the Queen of Swords and the Three of Cups. Oh, we have another card that flipped over. We have the Six of Pentacles. Very generous spirit, very giving, loving, and nurturing. What comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind? We have the Page of Wands. Okay, extremely imaginative. I'm getting creative, enthusiastic. Okay, adventurous. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you have a youthful appearance as well. Young at heart. I'm also getting, like, you still have your innocence. Like, regardless of what happened to you in life, you still want to see life for what it could be, the possibilities, just like a child. You see the beauty of life, regardless of like all the hardship that you've gone through. You still want to look at the bright side. So you're the type of person that see the glass half full, not half empty. You're more of an optimistic individual than a pessimistic. With the Page of Wands, so you could have Sagittarius in your chart, or Leo, even Aries as well, but I'm getting like mostly Sag or Leo. What comes to mind when people mention your name? What do we have here? We have the Magician, Gemini, Virgo energy. Very creative. Like, that's that creativity that you have with the Magician, okay, that people are very drawn to in the Page of Wands. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you're very creative, okay? You speak things into existence. Maybe you are into law of attraction, law of assumption. Maybe your channel, maybe I feel like some of you could be tarot readers, but also YouTubers, okay? That you may have your channel. You do, I heard astrology. Maybe you do, yeah, I feel like some of you talk about the planets, like conjunctions and stuff like that. Like, you are well versed in that topic. Like, when when the planets are retrograding, when the planets are, when they have conjunctions and stuff like that. Like, because I watch a lot of channels like that. So I feel like pile number 3, you may be those type of people that actually, like, you are a numerologist or you are an astrologer and you're well versed, okay? So I feel like you know your stuff with the Magician. Like, you're really good at what you do. And like, maybe you also do tarot as well. So when you do your predictions and stuff like that, it's very accurate based on the planetary placements with the Magician. I feel like a lot of you, or you're just into that, maybe you watch those channels as well, okay? So, but this is the energy I'm getting here for you, my pal, number 3. And that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you're very knowledgeable in your field with the Magician. You're very skilled at it. Like, if people even watch you, like these people that are jealous of you or envious of you, even though they still watch you because they know that you have the knowledge, the skills, the expertise. We have the Nine of Cups that flew out. Ooh, some of them, they feel like, what comes to mind when people mention your name is that you get your wish fulfillment. You are a wish fulfillment for some people as well. You are desirable because you have options with the Seven of Cups. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Oh, there's a card that already flipped over. Ooh, we have the Empress for you, my pal, number 3. That's that energy of creation, okay? Empress energy, that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you are high vibrational individual. You know your worth, okay? You know your value. You know what you're bringing to the table, and you're not going to settle for less. If somebody's going to come in your energy, whether it's love, whether it's friends, whatever it's work or partnership, whatever it is, it has to be high vibrational with the Empress. Okay. Some of you could be models here. So people, what comes to mind when people mention your name is that you have like a very beautiful appearance with the Empress energy. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Maybe you have like a modeling career and it's going well. People are talking about that. What comes to mind when people mention your name, my pal number 3? What comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind? We have the Page of Swords. You're definitely being talked about a lot. You're being watched online. People are taking notes. There's like a lot of people watching you with the Page of Swords. What comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? Okay, we have the High Priestess, Cancer energy. So guys, the 10 of Wands fell off the deck, but I wasn't called to take it, so that's why I put it back. Okay, so we have the High Priestess, Cancer energy, highly intuitive. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Maybe you could sense things. That's always getting like, you know, into astrology, numerology, tarot readers. Okay, metaphysical topics. I keep getting like law of attraction, law of assumption. Maybe like I can feel like some of you have your channel and that's what you talk about. That's the energy I'm getting. Like, you're very powerful, my pal number 3. You don't have to be like, you don't have to have a channel, but maybe you do it personally, like just for yourself. Okay, but that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Maybe you've done it for people and it was so accurate and they talk about it. What comes to mind when people mention your name? What comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, very creative energy with the Ace of Wands. I'm also getting sensual. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. You're very sensual, very attractive. We have the 2 of Swords and the 5 of Swords. Whoa. Somebody's pissed. Somebody's mad at you, my pal number 3. What did you do? Somebody's pissed. We have, maybe you're indifferent to someone. I feel like you ignored someone with the 2 of Swords. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you're indifferent, maybe indifferent to toxicity with the 5 of Swords, or you're indifferent to arguments, or just like maybe you slayed a dragon, because we do have a dragon here. And the man is like slaying the dragon. Somebody's mad. Somebody's angry. Holy moly. Yeah, somebody's pissed with you guys. Like, I don't know, man. Like, this person's energy just came out of nowhere. They're talking about you. They're mentioning your name and they're not speaking highly of you because you are indifferent to this person. You know how to choose your battles wisely. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. It's like maybe this person came at you in the 5 of Swords energy, all angry and verbally abusive or whatever, and then you were the 2 of Swords where you're like acting like you don't even know who this person is. Like, it's like, you know, when somebody's like yelling at the top of their lungs and then you're just standing there and you're not saying anything. Like, for a bystander, it looks like this person's crazy because it's like, who are they yelling at? Because nobody's reacting to them. And that's what I'm getting here. It could be a scenario where you ignore somebody who was yelling at you and they're upset. We have the 3 of Pentacles. You're definitely a great team player with the 3 of Pentacles. Some of you it could have happened at work or something like that with the 3 of Pentacles, where you just ignore somebody who was like yelling at the top of their lungs and you didn't even care. Like, you just ignored them. But you definitely have the reputation, like, when it comes to you and your name being mentioned, you have the reputation of being like somebody who is worth working with, worth investing in, because you are a great team player. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we are very skilled and talented with the 2 of Pentacles. You bring a lot to the table. Okay, this is work related. It could be somebody at your workplace. Maybe this person, they were not yelling with the 5 of Swords, but they were trying to undermine you or say slick things or trying to throw shots at you, and you just ignored them with the 2 of Swords. Like, you acted like they didn't even exist. or like they were not even important, because I feel like this person is not important. Okay. And then they're mad. They're mentioning you. They're talking about you. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have the Fool card. You walk to the beat of your own drums. You're eccentric. You're different. You're original. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Yeah, we have the Seven of Wands. You have strong boundaries here. You have high standards for yourself. Like, you're not tolerating any BS. And we have the Nine of Cups again at the bottom of the deck. So definitely getting your wish fulfillment, or you are wish fulfillment. It could be people at your workplace that are mentioning your name, my pal. Number 3, like, maybe like, yeah, or maybe like with the Justice card and the Seven of Cups, maybe you don't like to chill with these people. Like, you mind your business and you stick to yourself. Okay, you only talk when you are, when it's like work related, but when it comes to your personal life or privacy and stuff like that, you keep it to yourself. Like, you don't really talk much, or you don't really, and if you talk about your personal life, it's stuff that you don't care if they know. Okay, this is what I'm getting here. But you have strong boundaries here with the Seven of Wands. Yeah, you see rebel. Challenges authority to effect social change. Reject spiritual system that do not serve inner needs. Okay, you know what I'm getting? This song that's coming to me, that Bob Marley song, I'm a rebel, soul rebel. Like, I don't even know like the flow, and my flow is probably not good, but it's a soul, I think it's called Soul Rebel or just Rebel, but it's Bob Marley's song. Okay, so there could be like a message for you in there. But like, you're definitely, that's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like, you walk to the beat of your own drums. That's what a rebel is. Like, the rebel don't follow people's rules. Okay, they go against the, not that they break the rules, but it's like they go against it because it doesn't suit them. It's not conducive to their growth. So why are they gonna follow rules that are outdated? What comes to mind when people mention your name? We have victim. So it says prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Yeah, you don't let yourself be victimized. That's the Two of Swords energy I'm getting here with the victim card. Like, somebody's yelling at you or trying to be slick, or like, you don't let it get to you, because you don't let their opinions of you make you feel some type of way because you don't care. What comes to mind when people mention your name, my pal? Number 3. What comes to mind when people mention your name? Dilettante. It says delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. Okay, so because you are very creative, you have a lot of talents. What comes to mind when people mention your name is that they could be saying that you could be superficial, because they could be the type of person that they only have like one talent, and that there's only one thing that they're good at. Not necessarily that it's true, but because they only are narrow-minded, so they never try anything new. They always do the same thing, so they always get the same result. While you, because you walk to the beat of your own drums, we also have the Magician and we have the Empress. You're very creative, so you have multiple skills and talent, because we have the Two of Pentacles, so you could do more than one thing at a time. You know how to juggle. You have mastered that, because you could have very good feminine and masculine energy within your chart, so it's easy for you to balance both aspects of your life. So some people, they may see you as superficial, but I really feel like based on the energy that I'm seeing here, is you could do it. It's not even about being superficial. It's because you have those skill set and talent. It's not something that you're just pursuing just to pursue. You are excellent. You are a master, because we have the Magician. You're very skilled at what you're doing. So what comes to mind when people mention your name, my pal? Number 3. What comes to mind? Okay, that's just one, please. What comes to mind? Just one, please. Oh my gosh, Spirit. Okay. We have Knight, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. I'm going to speak on the Pioneer, but I'm going to put it back. So passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. So you're definitely pioneer. This is definitely giving me Emperor energy. So you're definitely a pioneer. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. Like I said, like I was talking about Dilettante, you're different. You have multiple skills and talents. So because it has not been done with the Pioneer, you're the first to ever do it, they're seeing it as being superficial because they have not seen it being done before. But it's like you're supposed to pave the way. You're a trendsetter. And we have the Knight of Wands. Ooh, maybe this is Knight of Wands because we have loyalty, romance, chivalry, and love of honor. So you're definitely honorable individual. You're loyal. You're romantic. That's what comes to mind when people mention your name. That's what we have, the 9 of Cups. You're desired by a lot of people too. And that's what's creating envy and jealousy as well, because you're like the full package. Okay? So that's all I have for you, my pal number 3. I hope this reading resonated. If it did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in my next video, pal number 3. Bye.